Kimberly Crail is a wise woman, herbalist, and educator who came from Wall Street to the weeds. Casey's mission is to teach folks how to heal themselves using whole plants and foods as medicine. You can heal yourself with simple and inexpensive methods, foods, and herbs. And now, here's the host of Weeds of Wisdom, Kimberly Crail.
Hi, this is Kimberly Crail, KC, the wise woman, and it is Turkey Week. It's Tuesday, the 25th of November, and I'm very excited to have my one of my oldest friends and my herbal teacher on this evening, Susun Weed. We're going to be talking about hormones and menopause and overall good health, and so it'll be really fun to talk to her. And this is one of my favorite pictures of Susan. And so before we get started, just to remind everybody a couple of things. Again, I spent 30 years on Wall Street, so I'm quite aware of the business model and also of this thing called let the buyer beware. And basically the business model of the medical industry is that if you're well, then you're really not, you're not a good customer, and you're a revenue loss for them. And so just keep that in mind. And in terms of advertising, what let the buyer beware means, the Latin is caveat emptor, but what it really means is that the law says that if it's an advertisement, you should be expecting them to at least exaggerate or in many cases outright lie. So you should get in any information that you get from someone selling a product, you should make sure that you're verifying those claims from other sources besides the person making the advertising speech. That's what let the buyer beware means. Beware of any claims made during an advertisement. Also wanted to remind everybody that you really can drink your way to health. And there are 5 nourishing herbs. You don't have to learn about 50 herbs, just 5. And these are extremely nourishing and particularly high in mineral content and with protein and anti-inflammatories. So the 5 herbs that I drink in rotation on a daily basis are comfrey leaf, red clover blossoms, linden flowers, stinging nettle leaf, and oat straw. So, and just to remind everyone, this is how you make a nourishing herbal infusion. It's really, really easy. In fact, they're so powerful that I call them green elixirs. And by the way, I put them in my pet food as well. The wet food for my pet food. And I think it keeps my pets healthy. My cats typically live to around 20, 21 years old, and I never take them to the vet. So there's that. So anyway, you want to weigh out 1 ounce of the dried herb. In the exception linden's case, it's a 1/2 ounce. But if you do 1 ounce, don't stress. It's just going to be a little twangy. And you're going to put that in a 1-quart glass jar. You're going to pour in 1 quart of boiling water. You're going to stir it with a wooden chopstick or a wooden spoon or something. And what you're going to see is that herb is going to get soak up that water, and there's going to be space that appears at the top of the jar. So you want to top up the jar with boiling water, put the lid on tightly, and steep it for 4 hours or overnight. And then when that's complete, you want to strain off the liquid, squeeze out the plant material, and then refrigerate that liquid and drink it within 24 to 48 hours, generally speaking. So highly recommend everybody drink nourishing herbal infusions. And I'm going to be launching Drink Your Way to Health class in January. So stay tuned for that. So my guest tonight is going to be Susun Weed. And she's really she's just a powerhouse. She's written 6 books. She's the voice of the wise woman tradition. I apprenticed with her in 2008. Her teaching has helped millions of women all around the world attain better health and become more powerful in themselves. Ms. Weed has no diplomas of any kind, having left high school junior year to pursue mathematics and artificial intelligence at UCLA, and having left there junior year to pursue life. She began her study of herbal medicine in 1965. Her areas of focus are folkloric herbalism, eco-herbalism, ethnobotany, pharmacognosy, philosophy and psychology of healing, comparative religion, and women's health spirituality. She is especially interested in altered states of consciousness as they pertain to learning, healing, birthing, and dying, and the role of plants in these states. And here's some fun pictures of, this is Susan, and I'm in the middle, and that's my mom on my right at Moon Lodge in 2015. And one of my favorite pictures of Susan, this actually comes from my Introduction to Herbal Medicine and Your Wise Healer Within class. And, you know, really you get a choice in terms of how powerful or powerless you really want to be, because you're created perfect and whole and holy. And then here we are all the way back in 2008 at the Goddess Festival in La Honda, California. So Susan has been with me, has been my shepherd through the journey. So I appreciate her very much. So I'm going to bring her on the stage in just a moment. And what I want to do first, though, is I want to actually, the big news that came out, we're going to really be talking about HRT, hormone replacement. What is it? How does it work? Is it good for women? Is it bad for women? What is menopause? We're going to be talking about all of that because of the recent news that the black box warnings have been removed from HRT drugs. So I'm going to show a 5-minute clip of this CNBC clip. I hope the ads don't interrupt us, but just in case, here we go.
Hormone replacement therapy for years have kept women on the fence about these treatments, but in a new Wall Street Journal opinion piece, FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty Makary says that it is time for drug manufacturers to remove black box warnings from these products because they've inappropriately scared women off. FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty Makary joins us this morning to go more in depth on this. And Commissioner, thank you for being here today. This is a really big deal and something that probably is not talked about often enough, but there was a Women's Health Initiative study back in 2002 that proclaimed that women who use these therapies, estrogen and progesterone, have a much higher risk of things like heart disease, breast cancer, associated other problems. And when the study came out, it cut the use of hormone replacement therapy by almost 50%. What happened? What are you looking at that makes you think we need to rethink all of this?
Well, that's right, Becky. That was a real American tragedy. The fear machine that started in 2002 with that headline took on a life of its own. And tragically, 50 million women in the United States since then have been denied, not offered, or convinced to not take hormone replacement therapy when they go through menopause. And what happened back in 2002 was that the study went to the media. The authors took it to the media and they broadcast scary headlines about it causing breast cancer and increasing cardiovascular disease complications, when in reality, no subsequent clinical trial has ever found that hormone replacement therapy increases breast cancer mortality. And the cardiovascular complications are a function of when you start hormone replacement therapy. When it started more than 10 years after the onset of menopause, then yes, the cardiovascular complications invert the risk-benefit ratio to make it unfavorable. That is, that there are cardiovascular complications. It needs to be started within 10 years of the onset of menopause. And when it is done that way, it dramatically reduces heart disease. In one study, a 30 to 50% reduction in heart disease. And in another study that just came out.
Sorry about that, folks.
2 years ago, a 48% reduction in heart attack deaths. Well, heart attacks are the #1 cause of death in women, and that's just one of the profound long-term benefits of hormone replacement therapy, on top of alleviating the symptoms of menopause, the hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, weight gains. There are 50+ different symptoms of menopause. 80% of women experience them. It is not like I was taught in medical school where, oh, some women go through those symptoms, but they usually last a few years and they're mild. No, they can be severe. 80% of women experience them and they last on average 8 years. And when you look at the long-term benefits alone in reducing cognitive decline by up to 64%, reducing Alzheimer's by 35% in some studies, and reducing the rate of bone fractures, those long-term health benefits are profound.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty compelling argument for why this should at least be considered and discussed between women and their doctors. Dr. McCary, there was a Yale medicine write-up about some of the flaws, the critical flaws, they said, with that 2002 study by the Women's Health Initiative. Just for starters, they exclusively studied women who were on average 10 years post-menopause with an average age of 63, which is a demographic that's already vulnerable to cardiovascular disease. And secondly, they only evaluated one delivery method, a daily pill that combined both estrogen and progesterone. And I believe the delivery methods have gotten a lot better since then.
That's right. Now there are more identical forms to the intrinsic form of estrogen that a woman's body produces. The slight increase in breast cancer observed, that is breast cancer diagnosed in that original study, was attributed to the type of progesterone used called MPA. It is no longer a type of progesterone commonly used for hormone replacement therapy. Again, it did not translate into an increase in breast cancer mortality. If you look holistically, arguably with the exception of antibiotics and vaccines, there may be no medication that can improve the health outcomes of women on a population level more than hormone replacement therapy. And so this is a message we want people to know. Unfortunately, around that time in 2003, the FDA slapped black box warnings. It was part of a group think. It was a pile-on. It was not scientific or rational. And so we announced yesterday we're going to be removing those black box warnings. We want women to have the right information. All of these issues of women's health have not received the attention they deserve in a historically paternalistic, male culture dominated medical establishment.
Interesting. And I'm going to bring on Susun, and I wanted to play the last part of the clip because they were talking specifically about what they found to be flawed in the 2002 Women's Health Initiative study. So first of all, welcome, Susun.
I'm so glad to be with you again, Casey.
So, so this is kind of the jumping off point. This is what everybody is talking about now. That news was just released this week. So what's your reaction?
I'm a little stunned by that news clip. Buyer beware. Wow, what a really well done piece.
It really was, wasn't it?
It was extremely, extremely persuasive. It hit all the right buttons. We're doing this for you. You've been ignored. Your menopause has been ignored. And now we're not going to ignore it anymore. And we have something that is going to make all your symptoms go away. All 50 symptoms are going to go away. And it's going to make you live longer and better. Who could say no to this?
I know. It's very...
Who could possibly say no to it?
Yeah.
I emailed you an article that I'd like to look at a little bit.
Let me pull that up.
And I want to start by saying that we need to understand something about menopause that is being obfuscated, that's being kind of clouded over. And that is that estrogen is not one thing. Women's bodies make at least 3 different kinds of estrogen: estradiol, estrase, and estrone. Some researchers see many more types of estrogen being made. And estrogen is not made only by your ovaries. Estrogen is made in the adrenals. It's made in your fat tissue. You know, I was diagnosed with endometrial cancer, which is a cancer caused by environmental estrogen. And my oncologist said to me, "You are so healthy. The only risk factor that you have about this cancer is that you weigh too much. And every one of those fat cells is feeding estrogen to that cancer, which you got from the environment.
Mm.
Now we know this. This is not some wacko person. This is an oncologist at Memorial Sloan Kettering who's
Wow.
telling me that the cancer I have and the endometrium, the lining of my uterus, is caused by environmental estrogen, which is being stored in my fat cells and released from my fat cells. And we also know that fat cells themselves can make it.
Right.
So I'm 80 years old. I have not taken menopausal hormones. During my fertile years, I did take birth control pills. And I think 10 years of birth control pills is not a bad idea. And if women do want to take hormones around menopause, 10 years is probably around the same amount. The difficulty being that when we take hormones, we actually stop what's going on hormonally in our own bodies.
Mm.
And I'm not certain that we're clear that that leads to health. So this is a post that I put out about menopausal hormone change. It says, yeah, your estrogen levels change during menopause. If I had more time, and so I have time here with you, we can say very clearly that what's going on with your estrogen during menopause is that you are no longer making estradiol. That's one kind of estrogen, and that kind of estrogen causes other hormones to be made, notably follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone.
Right.
So we're making estrase and estrone on a daily basis. And the amount of those two estrogens that we're making varies from hour to hour, day to day, week to week, month to month, and year to year. It's never the same. The idea of having balanced hormones is, again, an advertising and industry thing. If our hormones were balanced, we wouldn't be alive because hormones are messengers and they need to be changing. Estradiol is only made for about 24 to 36 hours each month. So really and truly not making estradiol anymore doesn't mean that we're going to be lacking estrogen or that we're losing estrogen or even that the symptoms of menopause are due to lack of estrogen.
Right. So you were saying before, so just to circle back.
Yeah.
So you said there's more than one kind of estrogen. And I think
Right.
it's important that women understand this point. So, and I thought there were like dozens of different kinds of estrogens, but but you're saying there are three basic types. Is that what you're?
Three basic types of estrogen: estrase, estrone, and estradiol.
Okay. And the estradiol, if correct me if I'm wrong, but you only start making that when at menarche, when you start bleeding, and you stop making it at menopause when you stop bleeding. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you also don't make it for whenever you're pregnant or you're using birth control. Is that also correct?
Correct. And when you're lactating.
And when you're lactating. Okay. So
other than that, during fertile cycles, you make it, but only for 24 to 36 hours.
Understood. Okay. And
brief
the other,
spurt.
right. But the other two forms of estrogen, you're actually making for a woman's entire life.
Correct. You're born making them, you die making them.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you so much. Please carry on. I just wanted to make sure that everyone was crystal clear on that point.
Right. So estradiol and progesterone gradually decrease during the menopausal years, but the falling down of these causes the FSH, the follicle stimulating hormone, and the LH, the luteinizing hormone, to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And these elevated hormones are what's causing the symptoms, and they are sending signals to your entire body. Remember, hormones are signals. They are messages to your body. Taking supplemental hormones can relieve the symptoms, but it does that by stopping the mechanisms that I think are within our bodies that help us age well.
Right.
All right. I am not saying that these hormones, these increases, and they can be 30, 40, 50 times greater than normal. They're really huge surges of hormone. Don't cause night sweats and hot flashes and sleeplessness and weight gain and bloating and all of those other symptoms. They do, but not forever.
Right.
And I personally found that they were quite moderated by nourishing my liver and not drinking any alcohol.
Interesting. Well, clearly, I mean, hot flash wise, I can heartily concur, because I don't have hot flashes or power surges, as I call them, very much anymore. But boy, if I have a glass of wine or something for dinner, hoo, all bets are off.
So that's, is it something that you might not drink for the rest of your life? Well, if so, it wouldn't be really a great loss, because it's not really that healthy for you.
Right.
So every one of us has to make a decision. Wow, is the pleasure of drinking so great that I want to take hormones so I can continue to drink? I remember being at a big herb conference in Iowa, and I was in the middle of menopause, and I was having a lot of hot flashes. And I asked them if I could sleep, if they had any place air conditioned where I could sleep, because it was over 100 there. It was so hot. And they put me in the air conditioned room with the stinky herbs. And
heaven.
It was so amazing, because all of those really strong smells really helped my liver. And I began to think, yes, the liver has to deconstruct the hormones. The liver is working very hard now. And so many women have found that allying with liver supportive herbs like dandelion or yellow dock or burdock or milk thistle, right, really moderates all of that. I also really found motherwort tincture to be a big ally for me, and I would just keep it with me. When I felt a hot flash coming on, I'd take some motherwort tincture, and again, I would still feel that power surge through my body, but it wasn't like I was being knocked off my bicycle.
It wasn't like you were bursting into flames.
Exactly.
Any menopausal woman knows exactly what I'm talking about.
What we're talking about. Let's see the next slide.
Okay. Let's see here.
Okay, because this has an article.
I'm trying to get there. Oh, here we go. There we go.
All right.
Am I there?
Yes. All right. All right. Eliminating alcohol. Follicle stimulating hormone levels increase during the early years of menopause. I'm really against the word perimenopause because they use it to say that women are in perimenopause and then they're in postmenopause, and there's no menopause. And of course, if you're taking hormones, maybe there isn't a menopause. Women with high follicle stimulating hormone levels experience mood swings, irritability, anxiety, depression, fatigue, decreased energy, and weight gain. Hello, right? Women are saying this is from lack of estrogen. It's from high FSH. Taking supplemental estrogen reduces the FSH. But those high levels of FSH are signaling your adrenals, your bones, and your liver.
Okay.
So when we push that down, then menopause is detoured from its healthy, though symptomatic course, leaving you with weak bones and weak muscles.
Right.
You notice that he did not bother to try to convince women that taking hormones would lead to stronger bones.
Oh, I think he actually did say that at one point, but it was shocking.
He,
But yeah,
he really focused on the heart, the risk of death from heart disease, and
he also said, here's the other thing I noticed: breast cancer mortality.
mortality. He kept
Not
talking about mortality, not diagnosis.
correct. Yeah, because and he did that twice.
Yeah.
So that tells me there might be a signal there in terms of diagnosis.
That there is an increased risk of breast cancer, but maybe you don't die of it because treatment is better. I noticed that as well.
Yeah.
But you know, I wish that there was a course for everyone in school about how to understand statistics.
Yeah.
So when he says there's a 50% decrease in risk, most people are thinking that that's a flat out 50% decrease.
Right.
But it's not.
Yeah.
Here's the example that I use that I think is pretty easy to grok. If I told you that there was a drug that would reduce your risk of bone fracture by 50%, you'd probably be interested in taking it. But if I told you there was a drug that would reduce your risk of breaking a bone by 1%, you probably wouldn't be interested.
Correct.
Your risk of breaking a bone in any year is 2%. A 50% reduction is 1%.
Okay. Yeah, the 100% of zero is still zero.
Correct.
Yeah, lying with statistics.
So they are using statistics to mislead you into thought patterns that are attractive.
Right.
Cuts your risk by 50. You're 50% less likely. No, you may be only 1 or 2% less likely in any given year.
Oh my God.
So, and your personal risk of heart disease or heart attack is going to vary a lot according to your lifestyle and your heredity.
Right.
So, again, are we suggesting that women just take a drug? Are we suggesting they take it for the rest of their lives? Or as one 76-year-old woman said to me, if they had told me when I started taking hormones in my 50s that 25 years later I would have breast cancer, have to stop taking the hormones and be going through menopause as well as breast cancer, I wouldn't have started in the first place.
Yeah. Well, and look, I completely empathize with the women that are going through this, because it's a massive, it's a cellular level transformation. I mean, it's huge. And so I think it's important that, we honor that. Yeah, it's not easy peasy, first of all, right? The real question here is, did our creator, our source, God, goddess, whatever you want to call it, make some sort of error in
Get
terms?
it all wrong? Is this all wrong somehow?
Right.
And
right.
modern
And
medicine is going to fix it for us?
Right. And how many hundreds of thousands of years have we been around? And I'm sorry, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, modern medicine maybe a couple of thousand of years. So,
modern medicine, drug-based, surgical-based modern medicine, about 100 years.
Right.
So,
yeah,
another one of the kind of statistical falsehoods is they say, well, women never used to go through menopause because the average life expectancy was only 50. But an average life expectancy includes children who die before the age of 2.
Correct. So again,
let's have 3 women be born the same year. One dies at the age of 2. The life expectancy is 50. How long do these 2 have to live for the life expectancy to be 50? They have to each live to be 75.
Right. Yeah, true.
In order for the life expectancy to be 50, because one has died at 2. And I'm not just making this up. 1 out of 3 children dying before the age of 2 is actually far less than what happened.
Wow. Right.
Look at people like Abraham Lincoln. How many children of his died?
Right.
Right? Children used to die far more. And so, yes, there have always been women who've gone through menopause. The Venus of Willendorf is obviously a postmenopausal woman.
Right,
I mean, when she was found, they said fertility goddess. But hey, I was pregnant. When I was pregnant, my breast went this way.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Not that way.
Not this way. Right? Like in the Venus of Willendorf. And look at that belly she has.
Yes.
That's not a pregnant belly. That's a belly that's been pregnant, but it's not now. Right. So let's go back to that slide and read a little
And by
bit
the way,
about
I
luteinizing
made this bigger so we can all read it. So we're gonna have to catch back up with the slides. Where we're at. Oh no, I just lost Susan. She'll come back. Okay, so this is much bigger print so that we can all read it. So while we wait for Susan to come back, so this is what she was talking about in terms of your estrogen and how you can't really replace it. Okay, there she's back. Okay.
You made it so big that I couldn't read it and I touched the screen.
Oh, sorry. So, yes. So anyway, this is bigger so that everybody can read. And especially these, we postmenopausal or menopausal women. And, right. So I think you had
seen this one and we're on the next one.
Okay. Are we there?
Follicle stimulating. I don't want to touch it. All I can see
don't
is
touch it.
Stimulating.
Okay. Don't touch it. No perimenopause. We were just talking about that.
We were
okay.
already, right. So we got that.
Yeah. Okay. Reduces the FSH. Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Okay. And we got that. We saw that. Luteinizing hormones. All right. Here we go. This is a scientific article from BMC Women's Health. During the menopausal transition, the production of luteinizing hormone and follicle-stimulating hormone in the pituitary increases to compensate for declining estradiol. And I said, note, estrogen is not declining. Only estradiol.
Right.
Based on changes in follicle-stimulating hormone, trajectory, accelerations, and deaccelerations and rates of change 4 menopausal transition stages, bounding the final menstrual period, and 8 epochs in chronological aging from ages of 28 to 60 have been defined. I'm like, whoa.
So that's the FSH hormones behavior over your life stages.
Over your life stages, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
So what is follicle stimulating hormone? It's exactly what it says it is.
The hairy chin hormone.
No, not at all.
Oh, no?
Not in the least. Your ovaries do not contain eggs.
Oh, right. Follicles are ovaries.
They contain follicles. And follicle stimulating hormone is the messenger that says to the follicles, hello, wake up, get on your party dress, it's time to dance.
Gotcha. Wow, okay. So they wake up the follicles.
Follicle stimulating hormone is the hormone that stimulates the follicles
of the ovary
up, right? In the ovaries. And only about 10 to 12 of the follicles get enough of this hormone to actually get their dresses on. And then there's a Miss Egg contest. Okay. And one wins and the others are supposed to die of shame. And if they don't, they become a cyst.
Okay.
Okay. And this goes back and forth from one ovary to the other month by month. Right? So not both the ovaries are responding on the same month, just one at a time. Isn't that fascinating?
That is fascinating. Aren't we amazing?
The follicle stimulating hormone. is like going like, da, 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 I'm going to simulate function, because this is my last gasp. It's not going to happen anymore. Da, 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 da.
Got it.
Right. And it's, it's like, whoa, there's a huge amount of energy going on in your body. And I liken this to a caterpillar that has been eating, and suddenly doesn't want to eat anymore. It wants to make a chrysalis. It wants to hide. And all of this energy is not appropriate to be out there in the marketplace. We're too vulnerable at that point. The caterpillar doesn't want to be with the caterpillars anymore. It senses something happening and it makes a cocoon. Now, I used to think that the caterpillar, well, I didn't really think it through. I kind of had this idea that the caterpillar just like got antenna and wings and was a butterfly, but obviously not, Susan. The butterfly looks really different. It's not just a caterpillar with wings and antennas stuck on it.
Right.
So as I began to like investigate this and talk to people who know about it, they broke it to me that what happens is that the caterpillar turns into black slime or green goo, depending on what kind of butterfly it's going to be. And I thought, oh, that's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
It feels like you're melting down into some kind of goo, into some kind of indistinguishable thing that you can't like say, oh, this is me and this is how I act in the world. You're like all like taken apart. I understand it's very discombobulating. On the other hand, you can't become a butterfly without doing it.
Right.
And it gets worse. It really does get worse. Because the caterpillar melts down. Okay, that's pretty bad, right? And then it becomes a butterfly, and then it changes its mind and becomes green goo again.
Really? So it has 2 goo phases.
Or 3 or 4, or sometimes 5.
Wow.
As I said, it gets worse.
Wow.
And we're not sure why that happens, and it's not the same in every species of butterfly.
Huh. Wow.
So it's true, some women just become maybe like a little pile of crumbs. And some women really, like hit black goo and just feel really like, oh my gosh. And so most cultures tell us that at this time it's appropriate for us not to have responsibilities and not to take care. And I don't know if you found her, but there is a woman who this morning said, oh my gosh, I can't believe 1 million of you are following this, who started the I do
not care. She's great. She's great.
Incredible.
With her little pen
with her glasses on her necklace and her glasses on her face and her glasses on her head, spitting the pen out. I don't care. This is what the menopausal woman is supposed to say. I don't care. You're hungry. The kitchen isn't locked. That was one of hers.
Right.
You're hungry. The kitchen's not locked. Go.
Yeah.
Right. She says, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. She says, and I'm a menopausal woman.
Well, and one of the things about this whole HRT thing that strikes me is I think that men really don't like menopausal women, and they want to find a way to get them out of their hair, or get them to make them be quiet, or to make them behave. It's kind of just a feeling that I have. Wow. Because anytime you talk about, menopausal women, men do the eye roll, like, oh no, one of those, huh? And so I think, and of course women are always looking to please their men. I mean, look at the makeup and beauty care industry. I mean, of course, she wants to please her man. And so I think, that kind of adds to the dynamic, but okay, so that's really interesting. So, yeah, we'll carry on with this. I so blew through the break. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to be right back with Susun Weed talking some more about menopause.
Menopause,
Menopause.
hormones,
Yes.
stimulating hormone, follicle stimulating hormone.
Woo,
What's going on?
exciting stuff. All right, here we go.
The UNX Network presents a health and wellness spiritually based brand of hemp-derived CBD products made by Hopewell Farm in Harrogate, Tennessee. We apply our Cathara energy work with all of our plants and products. Our products made in small batches with only 2 ingredients of pure hemp, full spectrum crude oil, and coconut-derived MCT oil. Third-party lab tested for potency and legal THC levels with 6 strengths of 1 ounce oil to choose from. Know what you're buying and get what you pay for from Hopewell Farm. Applied directly to a specific area, Hopewell Farm topical salve in 1 ounce and ½ ounce sizes made with pure hemp crude oil, comfrey extract, and all natural ingredients. Find the Hopewell Farm link and coupon code on the UNX Network website at unxnetwork.com. That's unxnetwork.com. The new book, How to Research a Haunted House by paranormal investigator Margie Kay and professional researcher Violet Wisdom, is now available from UNX Media. This one-of-a-kind book explains how to do research on a house with uncommon methods and resources used by historic home researchers, and how to determine who may be doing the haunting and why. How to research a haunted house can be used by homeowners, renters, investors, and it should be in the library of all professional paranormal investigators. Get this unique book at unxmedia.com or amazon.com. That's unxmedia.com or amazon.com.
So welcome back to Weeds of Wisdom. I'm Kimberly Crail, and my guest tonight is Susun Weed. And I should just mention before we go further how you can get more information from Susun, because Susun is pretty much a walking encyclopedia of health information. How many years now have you been teaching, Susun? Close to 50, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I started studying herbal medicine in 1965.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. So she has her books. I apprenticed with Susun in 2008. She still does shamanic herbal apprenticeships, which I highly encourage.
And virtual apprenticeships now too. This May, the fairies came to me and said, "We've always been virtual."
I hear that, but you
I
can't milk the goats virtually. So
that's what I said. I said, "You can't do this virtually." The fairy said, "We've always been virtual. Stop it."
Yeah. Well,
Okay, so I did.
I'm happy that I did it in person, and
Me
because
too. There's nothing like being out in the woods with the goats. It's just
indeed.
The
So
earth teaches you things that I couldn't teach you for sure.
Right.
And the books are at Wise Woman Bookshop. www.wisewomanbookshop.
Okay, gotcha.
And also check out www.wisewomanschool.
Okay.
Right. So at Wise Women's School, you'll find all kinds of fun courses that are do it your own. You get the course and you do it at your own pace. There are videos that I've made. Last year, Justine and I made a new video on nourishing herbal infusions, and it is really simple.
Nice.
Each video is about one infusion, and we make it, and then it ends with having made it, and then the next one starts with us straining it, so you can go along with it,
right,
and make each infusion with us. So it's really, so check out Wise Women's School, and also my single herb conferences are there.
Yes.
Sometimes people say, "Oh, you drink comfrey." Well, I heard comfrey is poisonous. And I said, I had a whole conference to get rid of this myth. And that's at www.wisewomanschool.com.
Okay,
A
perfect.
comfrey conference, yeah. And of course, my books are sold all over the place. New Menopausal Years, The Wise Woman Way.
Yes.
Has sold over 1 million copies, and we just reprinted it.
Oh, wonderful. That's great to hear. I mean, and I think really the time is right. And I'm not sure if I have, hang on a second. I'll see if yeah. So one thing I just wanted to share, the Hopi, have this prophecy that when the wisdom of the grandmothers is heard, the world will heal.
Yes.
And, we've seen, anthropologists come out over the last few years and remind us that it's these grandmothers, these women that live beyond their childbearing years that are responsible for our civilization and our, and the longevity of our species, essentially. So, I think it's important that we recognize that, the grandmothers have a big role to play. And unfortunately, we haven't been in a situation in our culture where we've really been respecting their wisdom and their life experience because, as I say oftentimes, if you listen to me, words really don't teach. It's, experience is the teacher. And so I suggest that, we really consider having, seeing our grandmothers and our mothers through new eyes. And if you have a great grandmother, even better. But the elder, and usually it's the women, because the women are usually the ones doing the cooking and the caring for the family and so on. But, the menopause is what allows us to have our grandmothers as additional support for women in their childbearing years, and also for the little ones. And so, anyway, but we're not organized in that form or fashion today. And
Yes,
so
it was Dr. Kristen Hawkes who put forth the grandmother hypothesis.
Really? Okay, I did not know that. Okay.
Which, as you said, has become accepted.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and it only makes sense because actually, I think whales also go through menopause. As somebody told me that. There are a few species of whales, but in general, not most of us. So you need a drink there, girl. You got a beverage? There we go. What are you having today? Oat straw. All right. Here's to oat straw.
Michael's in a play and brought home a bad cold.
Aha. All right. Well, darn you, Michael, but heard the play was a success, so that's excellent.
Oh, it's an American comedy, and it's pretty silly.
Yes, it is.
After a lifetime of playing villains, it's funny for him to be in comedies.
I know he's such a great villain. Of course, he can play any role. He can really play any role. But yeah, he does have that sort of Nosferatu kind of vibe going.
So I'm just back from Mexico, where I was part of the voice of the grandmothers of the Americas.
Mm-hmm.
And Luz Clara Camus brought together 6 medicine women from North America and 6 medicine women from South America, and basically had us do ceremony for 5 days straight with 600 women.
Wow. Yeah, I'm going to show a picture.
Wow, that's right.
Yeah, so I'm showing. Hopefully, they can see that. Maybe they can see that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they can see that or not. I'm seeing it.
You're seeing. We're not seeing it.
It's not showing. I don't know why. Okay. Well, I don't know what the deal is. Maybe I didn't do it right. This is what you get.
Okay. So what is the point we're making here? The point we're making here is you're being told a bunch of half-truths about menopause.
Right.
And you're being told these truths, and Marty was so clever to say, in this patriarchal system, your needs have been unmet. I'm like, I was just like flabbergasted that he would pull that one. Because I see what you see, and that is that this is not to promote strong women. It's to promote quiet women.
Right. Right.
Right. Would you stop complaining?
Yeah. You're less trouble. They're less trouble that way.
Yes. Just here's a pill and take it. All right. And we're going to make it look really good, so that you won't think that we're quieting you. You'll think we're helping you. But wow, how many times has that been pulled?
Yes.
Right? I
Yes.
mean, right down to the huge number of C-sections being done.
Oh, I know. In Long Island, where I used to live, it's over 50% now. I think it's 55% in Nassau County.
Right. We'll make it easier for you. We'll make it less painful. But, it's like, no, this is not.
Right.
This is not healthy physically, emotionally, or psychically.
Yeah.
It might be easier. I have never said that drugs don't work. Drugs obviously work. And I never said that drugs don't make you feel better. Of course, they make you feel better.
But do they actually build your health is a completely different question. And so they might relieve a symptom, but that symptom, and to take off on your analogy of the butterfly going to goo, there's, I don't know if people know this parable, but there's a story about a man who saw a butterfly and it was struggling to get out of the cocoon. And he just felt so bad because the butterfly was just going at it for quite some time. And so he just felt moved to help the butterfly, and he made a little slit in the cocoon so that the butterfly could get out easier. And sure enough, the butterfly got out easier, but when it finally spread its wings, it couldn't fly. It was crippled.
It actually couldn't spread its wings.
It couldn't spread its wings
because that struggle pushes the fluid down into the butterfly's wings.
Right. So
what is happening during menopause? Is this just some period of disaster that you have to get through? I call it puberty prime.
Okay, that's a good way of looking at it.
Like puberty, it is a big hormonal change that is going to redo everything in your body. I ask women to think about themselves when they were 10. Just get an image of yourself at 10. Who you were, what you liked, who you thought you might grow up to be, and now think of yourself at 15, 5 years later.
Right. Completely different.
Not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. And it's said that your brain continues to mature for at least 20 years.
Oh, I think that's true. I know in my 20s, I was probably 3 or 4 different people, until I hit my 30th birthday, and then it kind of slowed down a little bit. But yeah, there's no question that, and the other thing I think people need to recognize is the hormones. It's not just the ones that are reproductive. The thyroid is a hormone as well. And, one of the things I think that we also need to give it up is that the way hormones work together synergistically, we are really clueless about how they all work together and the dance that they do. And so again, you're created perfect. Source, creator, God, goddess didn't make any mistake, and menopause isn't a mistake. And if you try to, the struggle is part of what gets you to the stronger, so that you can live stronger, so you can live longer.
Stronger for longer.
Live longer. Yeah. Stronger for longer. And so, yes, you can take these things and it'll help relieve your symptoms, but it's going to mean that your life is going to be shorter. So if that's the bargain that you're happy to make.
But that's not what they're saying.
I know that's not what they're saying, but
that's not what they're saying. And I'm not even saying that your life will necessarily be shorter. What I'm saying is that the rise in FSH and LH, and these are really large rises, are signals to every other part of your body. It signals your muscles, it signals your bones, it signals your brain, it signals your liver. That these are very important things. I wonder, and science seems to be saying that these signals are what allow you to be healthy when you're older. And so I don't perceive that you're going to get these signals if you take supplemental hormones. Now, I want to jump track just a tiny bit
Sure.
because this is really important, and I want to be sure that it gets said while we're talking together. There is one laboratory that makes hormones. It's not like there's a bunch of different places that make these hormones. And the hormones that would be used, estrogen, progesterone, during menopause, are all made by this one manufacturer. So we have this stream of hormones coming from the manufacturer, and most of it goes to FDA certified places which dose it, put it in bottles, and it's available by prescription. A small part of it is diverted from that flow and is sent to places that are not FDA certified. Those are now being called bioidentical hormones. They're the same hormones your doctor prescribes. They're not different. Can they be?
Oh,
Can they be in different amounts? Sure. Because there's no real supervision. No standard has to be met. So your practitioner can say, well, you need more progesterone and less estrogen, so we'll do that. However, in a study that's a bit dated now, and I wish someone would repeat it, a woman with the same prescription for bioidentical hormones took it to 10 compounding pharmacies and got 10 vastly different prescriptions. Again, there is no oversight.
Right.
One of those prescriptions had over 500 times more hormones than she was supposed to be taking. Several of them had half as much. So I really hear your point, and I agree with it completely. Hormones are intricate. They're complicated. They vary. They vary from person to person, from time to time, from hour to hour. They interact with each other. And so far as we know, messing around with people's hormones usually causes side effects. So it makes me not happy about the removal of the black box warning, but it makes me really despair that it's being so aggressively pushed. That the language that he used, that women were denied the right to have hormones. No woman was ever denied the right. That it was a pile on with the black box warning. What interesting language to use about that. Right. I mean, one look at a pile-on. It was a pile-on Comfrey. I mean, David Hoffman at the Comfrey conference was in the room, and he says there's absolutely no evidence of any kind that Comfrey's harmful. Nonetheless, they agreed to put a warning on it. So, I can point to some real pile-ons, and they're rarely around drugs, quite frequently around herbs. Maybe that's just because I know more about herbs. I also, Casey and I were talking before the show about nourishing herbal infusions. I've been drinking a quart of nourishing herbal infusion daily for close to 40 years now. And I can say that every woman that I know who actually weighs out an ounce of dried herb, steeps it in a quart of boiling water at least 4 hours or overnight, and then drinks it as her primary beverage, gets through menopause. I wondered where you were. Are we still being recorded? Yes, the recording is still on. Well, hopefully you'll come back. So,
Oh, it was just me that got kicked
interesting
out.
show we're having. Sometimes me, sometimes you, sometimes both of us.
Okay, I'm back. Yay.
That we get through menopause
Right.
and we're happy and we're healthy and we're vital. For many years, when I was out far more and teaching about menopause, I would ask women who were postmenopausal to stand up. There'd be a number of women standing. And then I would ask any women who's taking any kind of hormones, bioidentical, prescribed, right, any of you using any kind of hormones, would you sit down? Some of the women would sit down, and then I said, all of the women who are standing are postmenopausal and are not using any kind of hormones. If you feel like you're missing something, please sit down. And I've never yet had a single woman sit down. So what can I say? New Menopausal Years has sold over 1 million copies. My guess is that there's at least 1 million women out there who've said no to hormones and are happy, healthy, juicy, orgasmic, strong-boned, healthy hearts. We don't need hormones for this. Are they available? Absolutely. Are they going to ease your symptoms? Without a doubt. Will they make you healthy? This is a thing that I think we are actually debating. I don't believe they make you a healthy individual. That doesn't mean you should never use them. Some women might need them to get through.
Right. But,
and then say, okay, now I can really take that time off and say, I don't care. But right then I had to still care. So I'll delay this. That's not a problem.
Right. Right.
We each
Well,
have
and it's not a matter
the
of judgment
responsibilities
either.
and the things that we care about.
Right.
And so how wonderful that we live in a time when we have all these choices, but we've always had all these choices.
Right.
And the hype around these hormones is exactly that. It's hype.
Right. And, people are going to choose what they feel is right for them. Oh, you can't hear me? Hold on a minute. Wait. Huh. You can't hear me, huh? Hang on. All right. Can you hear me now? No? No, huh? I don't know what's going on here, folks.
I'm sure whatever you're saying is interesting. I wonder if you can hear me.
I can hear you, and I can hear me, but I don't know what the audience is hearing. This is going to be an interesting playback.
Maybe she's signing off and saying what a wonderful time we had together.
This is crazy. It says it's working. I don't know why. Let's try.
Green blessings.
Let's try it now. No, don't go.
Nope, still can't hear you.
You still can't hear me?
Slide.
Oh, no. Well, you know what? Let me end
Before
this
it was
one.
in your headphones that the problem was.
The headphones?
I wonder if it still is.
Hang on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No, you can't hear me, can you? Something's wrong. It's my end. All right. So, all right. We'll have to come back. I'm sorry, Susan.
Oh, if only I was a better lip reader.
I know. I know. I'm sorry. I love you. For now. All right. Wow. Hi. So I don't know if you can hear me or not. Susan could not hear me, but I could hear her and myself. So I don't know what went wrong there, but I definitely lost the connection. So I apologize. We had to truncate that episode, but it's good information. Go to SusunWeed.com or the SusunWeedBookshop.com and check out all the great information that Susan has for you. So thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Bye for now.